Welcome to Sportpen.
Great to be here.
Today, we're not just looking back at some old games. We're really diving deep into the making of a legend, Larry Bird.
Larry Legend himself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And forget the highlight reels for just a sec. We're interested in the sparks, the relentless drive and those moments, those specific performances that really forged his iconic status.
Yeah, it's more than just the stats, isn't it? It's about the whole package.
It really makes you think about what true greatness is. What elevates an athlete beyond just, talent? What are the ingredients that make a legend? And how figures like Bird and the teams they were on actually changed the narrative of sports.
Absolutely. And you can't talk about Bird's legend without talking about Magic Johnson right from the start.
Oh, sure.
You got to go back to 1979, the NCAA championship game. Larry Bird leading his undefeated Indiana State Sycamores.
Undefeated,
yeah. Against Magic Johnson and the Michigan State Spartans. Indiana State lost that one, 75-64.
A tough loss.
But that single game, that college rivalry, it just set the stage. It had this seismic, almost instantaneous effect on the NBA.
It's funny looking back because the NBA in the late 70s, it wasn't the primetime juggernaut it is now, was it?
No way. Games were often shown on tape delay, sometimes even during the day. It's hard to imagine.
Right. But then Bird and Magic arrive, and it felt like a switch flipped. Suddenly their play, their unselfishness, the scoring, it just drew people in, new viewers.
Totally magnetic. They basically dragged the NBA into the spotlight. And Bird, remember, he was drafted 6th in 78.
But stayed in school.
Exactly. Returned to Indiana State for his senior year. Then he hits the NBA in 79-80, and boom, instant impact.
Leads the Celtics to that massive 32-game turnaround, Rookie of the Year.
Yep. And everyone's thinking, okay, here we go, Bird versus Magic in the finals, year one.
But nope. Basketball gods had other plans.
Dr. J and the Sixers crashed that party in the East, beat the Celtics.
And then the Sixers lost to Magic and the Lakers in the finals. That was the year Magic famously stepped in for Kareem in Game 6, right?
That's the one. Finals MVP as a rookie.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
So the showdown was delayed, but you could feel it coming. Bird got his first ring with the Celtics in 81.
And Magic led the Lakers back to the finals in 82, won it against the Sixers, then lost to the Sixers in 83 after they got Moses Malone.
Right. So those parallel paths, both reaching the top separately.
It just built the hype. By 1984, when they finally met for the title, it wasn't just a game. It was like a cultural moment.
East versus West, Celtics versus Lakers, Bird versus Magic. It was everything.
But, focusing only on Bird and Magic, we sometimes miss other key figures from that era, even from Bird's own teams.
Like Carl Nicks at Indiana State.
Exactly. During that perfect 78-79 season, Nicks wasn't just some role player. He was their second leading scorer, averaged over 19 points a game.
Wow, that's significant. Bird was averaging nearly 29, but still.
And Nicks was known as Mr. Intensity. He was crucial. Bird found him a lot, and their coach, Bill Hodges, even said Nicks made Bird better.
It shows how even superstars need that strong support, doesn't it?
Definitely. But Nicks, he was kind of overshadowed by the whole Bird phenomenon. His story's quite something.
Yeah, I read he had a tough background in Chicago, financial struggles. Basketball was his escape.
Total dedication. Practicing with a wire coat hanger for a hoop. That kind of drive.
Echoes of Bird's own work ethic.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And Nicks faced doubts, too, about his size, being left-handed. But it just seemed to fuel him.
He even had his own fan club at Indiana Start, the Carl Nicks fan club. That's pretty cool.
It is. But then academics became an issue. He ended up at Gulf Coast Community College.
A setback, but sounds like he turned it around.
He really did. Got his grades up, scored a ton of points. Division I schools started calling again.
And that's when Bird stepped in.
Yeah. Larry Bird himself called Nicks, told him to come back to Indiana State, said they could make a Final Four run together.
That says a lot about Bird's leadership, even back then, recognizing Nicks's importance.
Absolutely. And then Bird gets to the NBA, and the moments of just sheer brilliance start happening almost immediately.
Like that rookie year story against Phoenix. Hits the game winner.
And the Phoenix bench applauds. Can you imagine? That's instant respect from your opponents.
And that's when the legendary trash talk starts to emerge too, right? But it wasn't just noise.
No, it was calculated, that whispering needles style, like in Worcester, asking the guy guarding him about the scoring record.
And then saying, "It will be," because he was guarding him. That's cold.
Ice cold. It's psychological warfare before the game even starts.
It all stemmed from this incredible confidence, didn't it? Almost like he knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, like when Robert Reed said he'd shut Bird down, or Moses Malone boasted before the '81 finals.
It just seemed to fuel Bird. Like, okay,
Yep.
challenge accepted. Then he drills that game-winning 3 against Houston.
Exactly. He took it personally and answered on the court. That confidence was baked in.
And the trash talk examples are legendary. Telling Reggie Miller during a free throw that he's the best shooter in the league.
Or Charles Smith remembering Bird saying, "Sorry, Charlie," right before hitting a game winner over him. Brutal.
And telling the entire Mavericks bench what play he was going to run.
And then doing it. That's next level audacity and skill.
It does make you think about how trash talk, or maybe just competitiveness, has changed in the league today. It feels different somehow.
It does seem different, maybe less overtly theatrical perhaps, but Bird's confidence, he always said, it came from practice.
Right. Shooting basketball by myself for hours upon hours. It wasn't arrogance, it was earned belief.
He genuinely believed if he got past the first round of a shooting contest, he was going to win. Period.
And using that confidence to get in opponents' heads, walking into the three-point contest and asking who's coming in second.
Just breaks the ice, puts everyone else on the back foot immediately.
Yeah.
Masterful.
And that same killer instinct showed up in the biggest moments. That steal in the '87 Eastern Conference Finals.
Off Isaiah Thomas's inbounds pass, yeah.
Right. Swipes it, somehow stays in bounds, finds Dennis Johnson cutting. Unbelievable awareness.
Under immense pressure. Game 5, series on the line. Clutch doesn't even begin to cover it.
Or even going back to the '81 Finals, Game 1, he misses a shot.
But follows it relentlessly. Gets the rebound among the trees, and somehow puts it back in.
That sheer will to win, even when the first attempt fails, it defined him.
It really did. It's interesting, too, hearing Bird talk about how the game itself evolved.
Yeah, he mentioned the physicality of the '80s game versus today's emphasis on, well, the three-pointer.
A completely different style in many ways. He also talked about how the roles changed. You know, big men stretching the floor, small guards running everything.
He saw that shift happening, and when he coached the Pacers later on, his approach was interesting, too.
Very Larry Bird. Less about complex X's and O's, apparently.
More about pushing them physically, making practices incredibly tough. Rick Smith said practices were harder than the games.
His philosophy seemed to be, these guys are NBA players, they know how to play. My job is to get them in peak condition and motivated.
And he expected them to be smart players, too, that quote about the point guard.
Oh, yeah. If our point guard is not smart enough to realize that, we better find a new point guard. Pretty blunt.
No messing around there. High expectations for basketball IQ.
You know, before the Indiana State legend, there was that brief stop at Indiana University under Bob Knight.
Right, he didn't stay long. Why did he leave again? Homesickness.
Yeah, that seems to be the main thing. Feeling like a small-town kid in a big program. Maybe not quite clicking socially with some of the older guys like Kent Benson.
Kent Benson. And there's that story, maybe legend, about Bird getting revenge later in the NBA.
By having Kevin McHale just feast on Benson whenever they played.
Yeah, just feeding McHale possession after possession. If true, that's some long-game competitive fire.
It adds to the mystique, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And people always play the what-if game. What if Bird had stayed at IU? More titles for Knight.
Maybe. But would Bird have developed the same way? Who knows? His path worked out pretty well, I'd say.
Understatement of the year. And central to that path, obviously, is the Magic rivalry.
We keep coming back to it because it was just so foundational for them, for the league.
It really propelled the NBA into a new stratosphere of popularity. But beyond the on-court battles, there was this deep underlying respect.
They pushed each other, followed each other's box scores constantly, became like brothers almost.
Yeah. Even diehard Lakers fans. I remember reading Ice Cube talking about it. Hated Bird initially, of course.
Naturally.
But over time, grew to just deeply respect his mastery. His skill, his composure, how he controlled the game's tempo. That says a lot when your rivals' fans admire you that much.
It really does. And statistically, Bird was just unique in so many ways.
Well, think about this. He's the only player ever to make an all-defensive team multiple times, 3 times for him.
And also shoot 50, 40, 90 in a season, which he did twice.
Yeah. That combination of elite defense and historically great shooting efficiency, just unheard of.
And look at his '86 Finals performance against Houston, averaging almost a triple-double, 24 points, nearly 10 rebounds, 9.5 assists.
Plus 2.7 steals a game. And he even won a crucial late-game jump ball against Hakeem Olajuwon.
Against Hakeem. That just shows his incredible all-around impact and competitiveness. Offensive threat, defensive stopper, clutch performer.
And still talking trash while doing it.
Yeah.
Telling Dominique Wilkins exactly what move he was going to make.
And then just doing it, the confidence was just off the charts.
You know, thinking broadly, Those Celtics teams, they meant a lot to Boston, to New England. There was a real cultural connection.
Yeah, embodying that kind of blue-collar work ethic,
Yeah.
that sense of community pride.
And the organization and players like Bill Russell before Bird, and even during Bird's era, they weren't silent on social issues either. There's a bigger impact there, too.
Absolutely. When you look at Larry Bird's whole story, it's just this amazing testament to what dedication, basketball intelligence, and just sheer unwavering belief in yourself can achieve.
From French Lick, Indiana, to the absolute peak of the sport.
His journey was just packed with these moments of brilliance, that relentless competitive fire, and importantly, that ability to make everyone around him better.
A true elevation of the team.
It really makes you ponder, how that specific mix, the talent, the smarts, the unbelievable grit, how that comes together to craft a legend, not just in sports, really, but in any field.
It's a fascinating combination. Truly legendary.
Thanks for listening to Sportpen.